Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us. Bovine respiratory disease, commonly known as BRD, can cause devastating losses in cattle operations. In fact, this disease alone costs beef producers in the U.S. as much as $900 million each and every year. We learn more about combating BRD from reporter Brian Baxter.
Not far from the Texas and Arkansas border, Brandon Wren is constantly working to keep his stocker cattle healthy. From his experience in the cattle business, he knows that minimizing stress on animals can help them achieve high productivity.
Both of my grandparents were in the cattle business as well as my dad. My dad was a thoroughbred racehorse trainer, and we traveled all over. And when I was in college, I wanted to stay home, and I kind of went the cattle route. Oh, I love the stockers. It's constantly turning over. Every few months you're getting new cattle, and you're in the market, whether you're buying or selling. You're so much in tune with the world and what the beef demand is and our production.
Like most other stocker operations, Brandon receives cattle from many different locations, and these animals often travel long distances before arriving at Wren Land & Cattle. Brandon knows how important it is to address BRD in these stressed cattle upon arrival.
Well, many stocker operations get their cattle from all over the place, and so they don't know the history and the background of a lot of them, and so they're really putting animals together, trying to get them on feed as quickly as they can, trying to make them be productive and profitable. We don't know the background of the cattle, we don't know their vaccination history, we don't know their nutritional history. A lot of times, treating on arrival is really the only way to be productive, to prevent those animals from getting sick, coming down with clinical disease. And so it's really important to use that management technique using a product like Zactran on arrival for control of BRD.
In my opinion, a lot of the BRD is related to stress, whether it be from the traveling, not knowing where its mama is, whatever it is. So we're trying to eliminate that and get them as happy and content as they can be. So they're learning to eat. When we're receiving these calves, when we're giving them the Zactran, we're trying to get that week to 10 days and fighting any incoming BRD. When we receive the calves, we're processing them there pretty quick. We're trying to get them as stress-free as we can. That's why we like the Zactran. We can kind of kick them out and let them learn how to eat rather than sitting there pulling them every day with the horses, trying to let them learn their new environment.
Well, if you have a bacterial infection, particularly in an instance where an animal is stressed, it's maybe not on feed because it's in a new environment, then it doesn't have the capability to respond effectively using its natural immune responses. And so we really need to have an antibiotic on board to help that animal deal with that infection, that bacterial infection during the short term, to where then it can get over its stressful situation, get back on feed, and really start to respond and get its immune system to kick in.
It pays to stay ahead of BRD. The disease not only causes short-term losses, but can severely damage an animal's lungs enough to decrease lifetime performance.
The anatomy of the bovine lung really set it up for a bacterial pneumonia. And once that gets started, it's a downward spiral where the consolidation leads to less lung capacity. And if we don't get ahead of the infection as quickly as possible, we can really severely affect that animal's productivity and its long-term health.
Both Brandon and Dr. Tessman see the value Zactran can bring to the table for cattle producers managing BRD.
I have been very happy with the results of Zactran. Zactran has worked very well for me. So it's hard to change when something is working for you. I think that it's brought value to my herd. For one, a smaller death rate, smaller morbidity. The cattle are just overall healthy. So when they are turned out to the wheat and to the spring grasses, they'll gain. They don't have anything plaguing them.
Well, I would encourage producers to talk to their veterinarians about Zactran and trying it out in their operation. I truly believe that it can be a very key part of an overall management of BRD and can make the producer more profitable and the animals more productive.
Managing the health of his cattle is the first focus, but Brandon also notes that with less cattle to pull and treat, he's found himself with time to enjoy other things in life.
I think that Zactran has brought to me, on the front end, more time management. We're processing these calves. It doesn't take any extra time to process them with the Zactran in conjunction with our vaccines. So it allows me more time to do other things. We can get so engulfed in staying out here and worrying about our cattle all the time, we forget what's at home. The use of the Zactrans, helps a little bit more of the time managed so we can come home early and tend to our family. This ranch, this is my source of income. So, Zactran and the control of BRD is my livelihood. It helps me financially, keeps the bankers happy, the family happy, keeps everybody happy.
From outside Texarkana, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Here is some important safety information. For use in cattle only, do not treat cattle within 35 days of slaughter. Because a discard time in milk has not been established, do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, or in calves to be processed for veal. The effects of Zactran on bovine reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined. Zactran is a registered trademark of Merial.
For full prescribing information, talk to your veterinarian or call 888-637-4251. Or you can visit Zactran.com.